see how well my season's gonna go with putting. Welcome to my in the bag for the 2024 season this year. Um, should be an interesting one. Probably going to go through a lot of changes, but it's going to be good. I know I tend to throw a lot of flippier stuff, and he tends to be a little bit more straight to stable. Um, but yeah, let's start with what I got going on the outside. Pockets, I got a rangefinder, one of the Atlas ones that's really nice because it shoots in feet, unlike Ian's. And it also gives you distance based on elevation, which is super nice. Uh, this pocket is, I got a little warm up band, resistant band, and a bunch of towels in here. That's pretty much it for that. On the side, I have my Mountain Air knee pad. This thing comes in handy so often when you have to like go down to a knee for a putt or like a sidearm. That way, you're not getting your knees dirty or anything like that, and it's way more comfortable. Um, also have a Summit disc golf tag from Colorado that I got from my buddy when I played one round out there probably 2 years ago. I just like to keep it on the bag for a little swag. This side, got one of my old Black Diamond chalk bags that I like to use for keeping the hands dry, especially when it's really warm or getting, Utah's not super humid, but you do tend to sweat a lot. So it's nice to dry those hands off. I always have a water bottle in my bag that is not with me right now. Uh, and then this little pocket, I usually just keep personal items and things like that. This one, I'll put like a jacket or an umbrella in it if it's going to be rainy or cold. Always keep a marker just in case you ace. Got to have something to write down on. But we'll start with my putting putters, which are beat up Electron Soft Atoms. I used to putt with Electron Soft Proxies, and they became impossible to find. And I switched over to the Atoms, and I kind of like them a little bit more. They're very straight, and with my spin putt that I've been working on, they tend to hold a line very well for me. Um, but I do still keep a Neutron Soft Proxy in the bag for as my throwing putter. That way, just flip, a little bit of turn, or rides dead straight the whole way. Super nice to have, and it's comfortable in the hand for me because I used to putt with them a lot. Um, the other staple that's never leaving the bag is good old Glitch. Um, I absolutely love throwing the Glitch. It's fantastic. It's my 100-foot, I don't have a jump putt kind of throw. I've been able to throw in with this thing so many times from distance to save pars or birdies. Um, just super nice to have and reliable. Like, it's not going to go far past the basket. It's fantastic. Um, my other throwing putter, I also bag a Glow Envy, which is absolutely fantastic. Um, Same as Ian, it's very straight to stable for me. I can rely on it for like a 250-foot hyzer shot, or just keep it dead straight with a little bit of finish. It's absolutely fantastic. Um, Onto my approach discs. I do have two approaches, which is the Beefalo. It is a Yikun crossbow. Um, Thing is a pure beefcake for me. I can release things on hyzer like this on a forehand line and know that it's going to fade out. It doesn't go more than 150 to 200 feet for me on any line, so I can throw it as hard as I want and know that it's going to land and stay close to where it drops. Um, this is my scramble, get out of jail, anything kind of disc that I have in my bag. The other one that I bag is my harp. I didn't throw this for a while. This was my first ace disc, and I kind of fell out of throwing it for a bit, and now it's found its way back in my bag is needing that straight to overstable approach disc as my arm speed gets a bit faster. It's been really nice to have that kind of disc in my bag. On to my mids. I tend to keep my bag in a fashion that is basically the things I use the most tend to funnel to the center. So everything's kind of everywhere in my bag, but organized chaos. I at least know where it is, and I like that. Um, where is it? So I bag a glow reactor, which right now this thing is my straight to almost turning mid range, with a reliable fade coming out of it. Always, I can crush this thing 350 easily. It flies really well and really reliable, which I love. Um, my flippy mid range is a Echo. I believe it's Streamline makes the Echo because it's not an overmold disc. Um, it's a little bit flippier than like a Hex would be, so I can get some like reliable turn out of it. But it tends to like fade out at the end of the flight as long as you give it some height. Not too flippy, but very reliable for like a 300-foot turnover line that just kind of glides to the right. Um, and then new to my bag is the Malta, which is definitely staying in my bag. It is that overstable mid-range spot that I've needed for a while now. That I can release it flat and it's going to just kind of push left the entire time, or throw a big hyzer line and it won't dump down. It kind of stays and pushes. What was it? Hole 9, I crushed this thing right into the river at Creekside. Threw it way further than I thought it would go, but this thing fucking flies. Um, and then the other new addition to the bag being the Kask. This thing is a disc I never knew I needed. 6-speed, very neutral to stable. Um, it just flies so far. It glides forever for me. It's reliable fade out. It's never really going to turn over on me, even in the wind. I get like a little bit of turn, but it's going to always come out. Um, this has been my go-to disc for almost everything recently, and I absolutely love it. Uh, Onto my fairways, which I think I have a lot of fairways in my bag. I have a big bag, by the way. I need to downsize. As I'm going through this, I'm realizing how many discs I really bag here in that like fairway slot and driver slot. So I have my flippy fairway, which is a Legacy Disc Mongoose. I got this in a mystery box. Had no idea what it did. Lost it up at Solitude for about 2 months and ended up getting it back, which is fantastic. Um, but this thing flies, for me, it's like a 7.5 neg 2.1, where it'll flip up the flat and actually give me some turn out of it and then get stable at the very end. But not really pushing out. Like if I give this thing a nice flat turn the whole way, it'll hold it. It's been fantastic for any kind of turnover line or like a hyzer flip line. Next is my Mint Discs Diamondback. It is a 9-speed, but I tend to throw it a lot more like a 7 personally. It's just got like a shallower rim for me. It's a neg 2.2, very neutral flying. Sometimes get it to flip, but for the most part just flies dead straight with like a little bit of fade at the end, and has really been a staple in my bag for anything between like 3 to 350 and maybe even a little bit longer. Especially when it's like a big hyzer line, it'll just hold and push forever. I also bag a resistor, which this thing's starting to get a little bit beat in to where it flies pretty straight but reliably overstable for me. It's been a spot that like I couldn't throw this for a little while on backhand just because it was too stable and it was always my forehand line. But now it's been working out for both shots around like 250 to 300 just because of how stable it is. It's been fantastic for that. And then I have the 2 longer distance ones. I do bag both a Felon and a Firebird. The Sexton Firebird that I have is a little bit less stable than my Felon. So this is mostly a forehand disc for me, and this one's my backhand overstable. When I need a little more distance than the 6-speed resistor will give me, these both will fill that slot in getting the distance that I need. Next, I have my like 10s to 11 speed discs. Kind of that controlled driver slot. Uh, right now, I refuse to take it out of my bag. It's my Fission Wave. It's a 148. I've been throwing this thing since I started playing disc golf because it's one of the only drivers that I could put in my bag that I could just crush no matter what and wasn't a beefcake with my slow arm. Um, Now it's my roller disc. So, or if there's like a really strong tailwind, I can throw it out on hyzer and it flips up the flat and just goes forever. But mostly a roller disc. Um, Next, this is a slot that kind of like moves around in my bag. Right now, I have a construct that I put back in my bag because I don't know what to put in there. Maybe I just don't need a spot for it. Um, but it is a 10 speed. Um, for me, it's very neutral to stable. It's got a little bit of a shallower rim, but kind of a tighter shoulder on it. Um, I don't really throw it that much, but it's a rotating slot in my bag, so we'll see if it stays. Um, I also have a beat up Onyx that I got in a mystery box as well, and this thing is my go-to disc for anything distance wise. Um, Flies dead straight, wind resistant, but reliable fade that always comes out at the end. Um, it's not too beefy for me. I could throw this thing probably 350 on a dead straight line and just have it like hyzer out at the very end. It's absolutely amazing. I've never found a disc that flies similar to this, and kind of scared that if I ever lose this, another Onyx won't be the same, but we'll see. So I've also been bagging a Defy. This is my what used to be my forehand driver, um, but now it's getting a little bit less stable for me, so I can rip it on a backhand line pretty straight, and it will dump out left pretty well. If I throw it into a headwind, though, it will give me some turn and fade out. Um, I've actually been really liking this on a forehand line because if I can get it out flat, it'll give me just a little bit of turn and then reliably come out of that fade. Um, Onto my distance drivers, which I have too many distance drivers in the bag as well. Um, so I bag a Havoc, which for me, I looked at it as destroyer numbers, and this thing flips. It's fantastic. I can put it out on a bit of hyzer. It'll flip up, give me some turn, fly forever, and then come out of that turn right at the end of a drive. Um, this thing absolutely bombs. I think I threw it about 450 the other day, a little bit downhill. Just absolutely crushed. Um, I absolutely love the Havoc. I think it's such an amazing disc that is good for a intermediate person that's getting into disc golf. I think that is the driver that people should have over like a destroyer or a time lapse, just because of the arm speed. It'll reliably fly the way they expect it to. Um, Next in my bag is my Zeus, which is a bit more stable. This won't really turn for me very much. It's very straight flying to overstable finish. This is what I've been throwing a lot in the wind and on those tighter distance lines that I just needed to kind of hyzer and push the whole time. Um, this has been my go-to for those. Right now, I have my Bertie Sanders Blizzard Wraith that I got during the first Creekside tournament that I played. My first tournament, I think, that I actually played as well. Um, I got this disc, and this is actually going up on the retirement wall. Right now, it's still in the bag, but it's definitely coming out and going up on the wall. It has lived a long life and doesn't really have a place anymore, unfortunately. Um, but with that, I've put in a Yikun. Oh, what is this even? Glaze X Fuji? I don't even know what it is. It's a Yikun driver that I got from another round. This thing has so much dome to it. It's an absolute pop top. Um, it's a 12.6 neg 1 2, and the first couple times I threw it, it might as well be a 0.3 for my arm. The thing has just been super stable. Does glide for a while just because of how domey it is. So I think once I beat it in, this might be my overstable distance driver. That if there's too much headwind, then I can't throw my Zeus. I'll be throwing this guy. Um, And last but not least is my Saki Bomb. No, not Saki Bomb. Raptor Eye Grand Royal Rive. This is my get out of jail forehand distance driver. If I need 300 from a standstill on a forehand, I'll just rip over on this thing as hard as humanly possible. And it's a beefcake for me. So it always gets stable, always to the ground. Very reliable driver for me. So that's what I got going on in my bag this year. If you guys haven't already, check out Ian's video. That should be going up same day. His bag is pretty fun. Some interesting discs in there. You're definitely going to want to check it out.